Before we get started, YouTube stats have been telling a sad tale. Only 1% of my viewers are subscribed. So if this video does help you out, I really appreciate it if you did subscribe. And hopefully I'll catch you in the next video. But anyways, back to the video. Alright, today guys, I want to make a real quick video showing how to set up a dedicated Valheim server. And what you're going to want to do is go into Steam and into your library. And if you click this drop down arrow here, I'm going to deselect games and we're going to show tools. Now I have Valheim dedicated server in my favorites, but it should be down here at the bottom around the V's. But anyways, you're going to want to install this, and once it's installed, you're going to have to port forward. And depending on your ISP, you might be able to configure it yourself. Or you might have to call them. I know at my other house I can use an app to configure it and don't have to call them. It's different for everybody, but if you are able to configure it yourself, you're going to want to go into the start menu, type in CMD, and type in ipconfig. And in here you're going to want to grab your default gateway, go into any browser, enter that, and if you are able to configure your network, it'll pop up with like a login. Most routers and such have a default login where you can configure it, or modem, depending on your ISP. But if you look it up online, you might be able to find a default password for that brand and sign in and configure it. But you're going to want to open up ports 2456, 2457, and 2458. And once you have those ports opened, you'll be good to go. But also, while you're in this ipconfig menu, and you're on your server, like I said, like since I'm hosting it on my machine, that's why I'm using this. But you're going to want to get the IPv4 address for that system. And since you're on the local network, or if you are or not, I currently am, I'm going to be using my IPv4 address to connect to it. It's on my machine. You're going to want to direct the ports to the machine that the server's on. But the IPv4 address for my machine is 10.0.0.3, and then I just put the colon 2456. Now, people outside of your network, they're going to be using your public IP, and where you get that is you open up any browser, type in my IP, and search it up on Google, and it'll give you your public IP, and then all you have to do is put a colon 2456, and people can join your server. But before we start up the server, there are some configurations you can make to your server. So we'll head into Steam here, right click on this, go to properties and local files, hit browse, and in here you can right click on this and you can either hit edit, or I'm going to edit it with Notepad++. But you can change the name of your server, the name of the world, and the password. I'm just going to leave all this stuff default. I'm going to be shutting the server down. I don't need it, but I would recommend changing the password at least, and giving it to your friends that are joining on the server, and the IP to join, because the server list on Valheim isn't anything special. It has issues, doesn't have a favorites option, and kind of sucks, to be honest, but at least you have the join with IP option, because not all the servers are showing up. But anyways, now that you've configured this, you're good to go. You can just start up your server, and then I'm going to head back into Steam. I'm going to enable games again. I can get rid of the tools since oh, wait, one second. Before we get into that, if you're in your Valheim dedicated server folder, if you go back to common, right click on this, and hit send to desktop, it'll make getting to these files a lot easier, because now on your desktop there's going to be a folder right here, and that is how you get to your server files now. It makes it a lot easier to get there. But anyway, since it's started up, I'm gonna head back into Steam, and I'm going to launch up Valheim right there. Play Valheim. Once we get the game loaded up, I'm gonna join on the server and make sure everything's good to go. Shouldn't take too long. Yeah, and we'll be good to go. Yep, server's good to go, looks like. When you start your server for the first time, you might get a network thing that comes up, and it It's like firewall. It lets it through the firewall. Check both of the check marks and hit allow, and it'll be good. Now I'm gonna hit start game. Start with my test character, join game, and I'm gonna join the IP. And I'm gonna be using, since I am on the local network, I'm going to be using the system that is the one that has the server on. And this would work for anyone that's in your local network, this IP. Now, anyone outside of your house trying to join in, they're going to have to use that public IP. Now, I'm going to use this because it's going to be a little bit snappier, and I'm going to hit connect. And like I said, you configure this. You're just going to want to use your password that you have set up in here. Just going to copy this real quick. And once it's connected, oh, disconnected. Oh, ain't that something? Haven't seen that before. So let's copy this again, try joining, and see if it works this time. If not, it might have been because the console might have froze up. I've seen it happen a time or two, so which is really weird. I don't understand why Windows has that issue. Yeah, I think the console froze up. So if I go in here and I just press any key on my keyboard, it unfreezes the console, which is really weird. Should be good to go. Now, start, join game, join IP. Let's try this again, and connect. It should work now. I don't know why it does that. It's so irritating. But as you can see, since I did that, literally just pressed one key and unlocked it. It's good to go. So now I can go over and I can enter my password, and we'll join the server, and you'll be on your way. Shouldn't take too long to start up. It is frozen though. There we go. It's joining in. Alright, and there we go. We're in the game. Well, hopefully this video helped you out, and if it did, liking and subscribing would be much appreciated. I'm going to be making a video anyways on how to increase the max players, and I've also made a video on fixing the desync issue with this game. And when I say desync, I mean when you're fighting enemies and they're lagging around, you're playing with your friends, they're running and jutting around and really laggy, chopping down trees, collecting resources off the ground. Like, if you played Valheim for a while, you've seen the issue when you're running by items on the ground and you're trying to pick them up and they just won't pick up. It's just small irritating things, but I have a fix for that. The devs for the game do know of a fix for it, or they know of the issue, and they're probably going to be implementing a fix for that here shortly. But as of now, I have a fix for it, and hopefully it'll be integrated into the game eventually. Before I go, I just wanted to say that I am going to be making another video on how to increase the max player limit. It's just a little modification to the game. And it's not too difficult, but I have had people requesting that, so well, I'll see you guys.